In this video, I want to talk about the benefits of believing false doctrine. Now, I know what some of my critics will be thinking right now. We always knew that progressive Christian didn't really think doctrine was important. Not the case. Listen to what I have to say and then draw your own conclusions. What I want to argue is that there are cases where believing falsely about a doctrine enables one to believe rightly about doctrine and also enables one to love rightly. Uh, I want to be clear that what I'm not proposing here is something along the lines of Mark Twain's infamous definition of faith, believing what you know ain't true. Obviously, it's impossible to believe something that you know to be false or that you believe to be false. I'm arguing rather that there are cases where things that we believe which are false are in fact beneficial to us because they enable us to accept and believe other things as true which are true and which are of greater import than the thing that we believed to be false. And further, that believing that false thing also then enables you to love rightly. So the point is that believing falsely about doctrine is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing. And I want to give you one example of this. And the example comes from a lady who was interviewed some years ago on Unbelievable with Justin Brierley. Well, used to be hosted by Justin Brierley. And in this interview, she shared her own experience, a riveting account and a painful account of how she had lost a child and the way that she had reconciled the loss of her child to her Christian faith was by coming to believe that God was not meticulously provident. She came to accept open theism. Now, I'll say at the outset that I don't believe open theism is true. But in this case, I think that coming to believe that open theism was false, or sorry, that it was true, when even though I believe it is false, coming to believe it was true had for her benefits in terms of reconciling herself to the love of God despite the death of a child. Let me give you a parallel from ethics. So we've all heard this case from ethics, from deontological ethics in particular, that in World War II, a person is hiding Jews in their basement when the Nazis come to their door and asking, "Are you hiding the Jews in your basement? Can you lie to the Nazi in order to protect the Jews?" I think the correct answer is not only can you lie, but you should lie. You are morally obligated to lie to the Nazis. What that thought experiment provides for us is two different obligations: the obligation to tell the truth and the obligation to protect the innocent. And there are times in life, and this is one of the reasons that we have ethicists to try to figure these cases out. There are times in life where ethical obligations appear to come into conflict with one another. In this case, your obligation to tell the truth is in conflict with your obligation to protect the innocent because telling the truth places the innocent at risk. And in this case, it seems to me overwhelmingly obvious that protecting the innocent trumps, let's just say, is more important than the obligation to tell the truth. So you actually are obliged to lie to the Nazis, to mislead the Nazis in order to protect the innocent. I think something similar is at play here. We have two different beliefs in terms of doctrine: the belief that God is perfect love and the belief that God is meticulously provident. And for a particular person at some particular point, such as in the death of a child, those two beliefs may appear to be in fundamental conflict with one another. One cannot reconcile the idea that God is meticulously provident, has meticulous perfect foreknowledge, with the idea that their child died, because that will seem to undermine the love of God. And given that dilemma, it seems to me that for that person, when they face this choice, in essence, it is more important to continue to affirm the love of God than the meticulous providence of God, just like it is more important to protect the innocent than to tell the truth. So if that person ends up believing something false, which enables them to maintain the love of God, that is better than having maintained the meticulous providence of God, but as a result, lost the belief in the perfect love of God. So when this lady described coming to reconcile the love of God by abandoning the traditional conventional sense of divine meticulous providence in virtue of now upholding a open theist view of providence, I think that had outweighing benefits, even though I believe it's false. It had the outweighing benefits of protecting her greater sense of the love of God, and thus her ability both to love God and to be a disciple of God in Jesus Christ, in which she continues to seek to cultivate that love of neighbor as well. So, this is an example where you could have a false belief, which nonetheless has benefits for the individual in terms of maintaining beliefs that are even more important and also thereby enabling them better to love rightly.